Hi, today we're going to talk about Unit 8, which is formal essay writing, formal essay model. Essay writing is our goal that we are shooting for in all of our formal writing. The students are going to use what they've learned in the first 7 units to make this unit easier. This unit can be complicated if they don't have a firm grasp on the other units. However, if they've been going along and they're really getting it, this shouldn't be too complicated. This unit is the basis of the Facts of History report. They will use this setup to write their information about whatever historical event or historical person that they choose. They are going to use the summarizing references from Unit 6, and they will do the multiple references and fuse the outlines to come up with their completed outline. The difference with formal essay writing is that they're picking a broad topic and then a few topics below that to talk about. So an important thing to help your students narrow down what they want to talk about is to have them formulate a thesis. So they need to first pick the topic that they want to talk about, whether it's Amelia Earhart, or it's the flood, or it's George Washington, I don't know. Anything that they want to talk about, they need to figure out first that broad topic. Then they're going to take that and they're going to decide on 3 topics within that broad topic. So as they do this, writing the thesis would be super important because they can think of something that guides them as they write, and it also helps the reader to know the intent of the paper as they're reading it. So, for instance, those of you who don't know, I am a dental hygienist, so I am going to use that kind of as my example. Also, I wanted to point out that with this writing these topic paragraphs and keyword outlines first are the best way to do this. It's very difficult to go through and write it's kind of bizarre, but you don't write the introduction first, you actually write it last. So you start with a topic, and you'll have 2 to 3, maybe more source texts, and you're going to take information from each of those, but you have to know what you're looking for. So for me, I would say if I wanted to write on dental hygiene, I don't want to write on dental or dentistry. That's a little too broad. So if I want to say I'm going to write about dental hygiene, and then, so that's my subject. Then I have to decide what I want to say about my subject, what I'm trying to convince readers to know or just teach them throughout my paper. So maybe I want to say proper dental hygiene can save your smile. And that is my thesis statement. It's simply what I know either as a fact or as an opinion. Sometimes they're things that can be debated, but that one's not one. But so I would say that dental hygiene can save your beautiful, or proper dental hygiene can save your beautiful smile. That would be my thesis statement. So then I would say, what 3 topics do I want to look up specifically to talk about how dental hygiene can save your smile? And so I might first talk about the anatomy of the mouth and the teeth, how they come together, how plaque and tartar and calculus gets stuck in between the teeth, how just eating and drinking causes bacteria to build up and mix with the bacteria that's already in your mouth. And so I would use that information, the anatomy, and I would write topic A was anatomy. And then I would have, like I said, 3 of these, 2 or 3 of these, and I would write all the information that I'm finding out about dental anatomy that makes it difficult for your teeth to stay clean on their own. And so I would do my 2 to 3 sources, and then I would pick my favorite things and I would merge them together, fuse them into one outline. That outline would go here. So I would have things about, how the teeth are lined up closely and it doesn't allow the toothbrush to get there, how bacteria gets caught in between the teeth. I would talk about those different things and I would put them here. That's my fused outline from we're just going to say 3 sources that I got my information from, perhaps 2 books and a medical journal. So then remember, clincher on here is just to remind you to not forget a clincher. So then maybe topic B would be that how to properly clean your teeth. And so then I would go through, and once again, I would use 3 sources, my 2 books and my medical journal, to talk about proper brushing and flossing techniques and to talk about seeing the dentist regularly. And I would write each source text a keyword outline. So if I have 2 books and a medical journal, I should have 3 keyword outlines that I will fuse into one. So I would put this information here regarding proper cleaning and care for teeth. And then maybe my 3rd topic would be what happens if you don't clean your teeth. So I might talk about gingivitis and periodontal disease and cavities, and I would look those up once again in my 3 source texts, and I would have 3 keyword outlines. So as you're hearing, there's a lot of keyword outlines. There would be 9 keyword outlines before this is fused together. So technically you end up with 12, but 3 for each topic that get fused into one. So then this one would talk about all the negative effects of not caring for your teeth. So then the easier thing to do, as odd as it sounds, is these are just here. These aren't here to be a keyword outline. These are here to remind you that you need to include these in your final draft. So what personally I have my kids do is they do their 3 sources with 3 keyword outlines, they merge them together, and they plug them each in here. So these 3 things would be filled out. And then I have them write their rough draft of that and then write their final draft. When they're writing their rough draft, though, I will have them go through and write their conclusion. So in their conclusion, they would restate their topics. And so, like I said, my topics were anatomy of the teeth, proper cleaning, and the effects of ignoring your dental hygiene. So I don't want to just say anatomy, proper hygiene. Like, I don't want to list them as a choppy, weird, not proper sentence. I'm remembering a conclusion. The point is to wrap up the paper, help people know what you just read about and remind them of why it's important. So I'm going to say cleaning your teeth is difficult due to your anatomy. It's important to clean them properly, and you can end up with a lot of disgusting bacteria and diseases in your mouth if you don't clean them. I can do the 3 topics in one sentence, or I can make 3 separate sentences. The 3 separate sentences is for when they're a little bit farther along and they're a little bit more comfortable with writing. Then I'm going to write the most important or most significant thing from my paper. And so maybe I would write it is absolutely so important that you brush your teeth every day, twice a day, and floss once a day in order to maintain your gorgeous smile. And then I'm going to say, well, and I kind of wrapped those up in one. I said what was the most important, and that was brushing and flossing, and why it was the most important. Now, these are opinions. Someone else might say, I don't think that's the most important thing. I think the most important thing from your paper is that I'll end up with no teeth if I don't brush them and floss them. And so maybe the most important. So it is absolutely so important to brush your teeth, to take care of your teeth so that you don't end up without a smile or something like that, okay? Personally, I like to add, and it's not on here in the formal model, but I like to add a final clincher to the paper that comes from your attention getter in the introduction. And I'll explain that in a second. So this, once again, is being written while they're writing their rough draft. So after they have written technically it'll be paragraph 2, paragraph 3, and paragraph 4, then they write paragraph 5, and then they come back up to the top. And for some reason, IEW just teaches that this is easier to do the introduction last. So they'll come back up to the top. They want an attention getter or a hook to their paper. They want something that when someone picks up their paper and they read the first line or two, they're not gonna be like, I don't wanna read that. So I find these really fun. I have a list of some options, and there's all kinds of things, but you can start with a quote. Maybe I would quote something out of a medical journal or a dentist that I've worked with. If you're writing on Amelia Earhart, maybe you'd make a quote about how much she loved flying. And you can also do a startling fact. So it might be something about, I'm sorry, I should have thought about this before, but a fact about how many people suffer from periodontal disease, or how many people lose their teeth from periodontal disease every year. You can start with a question. Do you brush your teeth every day, twice a day? Or do most people brush their teeth once or twice a day? You can start with something that elicits emotion. You can start with a riddle or a joke, and you could start with a comparison. Maybe I could say, you wouldn't forget to wash your body, so why do you forget to brush your teeth? Although I shouldn't be using the words you. People don't forget to wash their bodies, so why do they forget to brush their teeth? These are really fun to think through and to get the kids kind of a little bit more interested in their own paper. And so what I like to do is take that attention getter, especially like my kids have asked jokes before in their paper, and I like to take that and answer it in the conclusion, the final line. I like to say, so remember that you don't want to end up or people don't want to end up a statistic and end up having lost their teeth from periodontal disease. This is not flowing super well, but I hopefully you get the point. So then the background information, you want to give some kind of background information. Now this is going to look very different based on your topic. I might give statistics for how many people don't have dental insurance. I might talk about how fluoride didn't used to be in the water, and that it's helped with people's teeth. I might talk about going to the dentist regularly, just any kind of background information. I might talk about how God created us in his image and how the body is a temple, and taking care of your teeth is respecting the temple that God has given us. I can talk about lots of different things. If you're talking about a person, you might want to talk about what happened before them, either related to maybe something they invented or related to their life as a child, if you're not going to discuss that, or just anything that you feel like could be helpful or important information for the reader. If you're talking about World War II, you might want to state something about World War I in your background information. And then the last official thing that has to be in the introduction paragraph is stating the 3 topics. So once again, this can be one sentence or it can be a sentence per topic. So you're just going to state them. I personally like to let my kids use their topic sentences and just come up with like something very similar to write what the paper is going to be about. And you could write through proper knowledge of your anatomy, proper oral hygiene, and a desire not to lose your teeth, people can maintain a pretty smile. And then this is where it kind of varies based on the information that you're looking at. But this is where they would pose a question. Perhaps, how many people do you think are, I'm sorry, I keep saying you. You're not supposed to use you or I in research writing. How many people a year get dentures, full dentures? Or, like I said, that could be my thesis where I said proper dental hygiene is important for maintaining your beautiful smile. And like I said, then I'm either asking a question that I'm going to answer throughout the paper, or I'm making a statement that I'm going to answer throughout the paper. So that is the information for report writing, and hopefully your students understand this and grasp the concept. Like I said, these 3 come from 3 source texts. The top and the bottom come from your own writing at the end after you write your rough draft, and then you write your final draft with it. So